So for Leetcode insert interval number 57, you're given a 2D array of ints, and you have to insert a new interval into the intervals by fitting it in there or merging it if it overlaps into one of the existing intervals. So if you're given intervals 1, 3 and 6, 9, the new interval 2, 5 overlaps into the interval 1, 3. So you have to merge that and do the output 1, 5, 6, 9. If you're given this list of intervals here, and you have to add in 4 and 8, you see that it overlaps here in 3, 5, but then it also overlaps in 6, 7, all the way into 8, 10. So the output would be 1, 2, 3, 10, and then 12, 16. And then there's edge cases here where it's empty or when the interval fits within the given interval. Okay, so in order to do this, we have to iterate through all intervals. And we will keep an index I and manually update that. And we will have 3 while loops, each checking first that we aren't through all the intervals. First while loop is going to first check that the I is less than the interval's length. But we're going to also check if the new interval start time is greater than the current interval end time. And so this means that if the new interval starts after this current interval, we are going to just add this current interval to our answer that we're putting out. So this would be the first part. We're going to first loop through all of the intervals that are before our interval, our new interval. So then our second while loop is going to again check that we are within the intervals that we're looking at. And we're going to check that our new interval start time is greater than the current interval end time. So we already know that our new interval, its new interval start time is greater than the interval end time. It's already been added, but this is our second while loop where we found either where we have to merge the intervals or add it in there. And then we're going to do our third while loop, which will be as long as the I is less than the interval length, just adding on intervals to the end that are not merged. Okay, so then we're going to have to return our answer. And our answer, because we're not sure what the length of our answer will be, and if we initialize a 2D array, we would have to set the length, but we're not sure what the length is going to be before we iterate through it. So we're just going to make a list of int arrays, and we're going to have to convert that into a 2D array at the end. So this will be our answer until we return it at the end. And then we're going to start off with our index, which is 0. We have our first while loop. So we're saying while I is less than interval's length, and the beginning of the new interval is greater than the current interval's end time, we are just going to add that to our answer. And we're going to increment our I by 1. And next we're going to say our next while loop. So after this one breaks, because it'll likely be because of here when we're iterating through. So we'll say, while our interval's length is greater than is less than I, and our new interval end time, which is 1, is greater than or equal to the start time. This is how we will catch where we will merge in. We're going to now maybe update our new interval with the minimum of each of these start times and the maximum of their end times. So we're going to have the new interval. We're going to update the beginning time to be whatever is the minimum between the beginning time of the new interval or the beginning time of our current interval. And then our new interval end time will be the max value between the interval's end time or the current interval's end time. So we will keep updating this while this is true. So as long as our new interval end time is greater than this interval's current interval start time, we're going to keep updating the new interval that we're going to be adding in here. This will satisfy this given example. And then after that breaks, we are going to add in our newly updated new interval. And then we have the end. So we have our new interval inserted, and in case we have any left, so while I is still less than the interval's length, we're just going to keep adding the rest of the intervals onto our answer. And we have to manually increment I. And that's our third while loop. And then at the end, we're just going to return our answer, but we're going to have to make an array, a new int array, and that's going to be answer size, and then just number 2D array. And that should be it. Let's run the code. So that works. Let's run it with this one. And that works as well. And let's do a little printing out so we can just see what is happening where. So for our first interval, we'll see what intervals are being added on. What is intervals I? So we could just do system out line. So that would be for our first while loop. So let's just see what this would be. It would be I, and then let's just do 1. The end time of our interval here, or we could see the new intervals start time. And then let's do another printout for the middle. And let's see what our new interval is. So we'll say our new interval, what our start time is. And then we'll see what it is over here again after it's updated. And we'll just do here. To see what the last intervals here are being added on. Tricky. This will be the end time. Loop. So that should work, and we can just get some printouts to see. So we'll say here, okay, so for the first while loop, we have the end time is going to be 2. And then we'll see that that breaks. And so we'll say 4 is the new interval start time, which is what it starts out, is what we're given. And then we'll see that it's updated to 3. And then for every other time, we'll see that it keeps going through this medium while loop, and it keeps updating it because it goes through 3 times. So the first time it goes through is here, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. So it goes through these here in the medium time, and it says, okay, we're still going to start with, for this interval, we're still going to have it to be 3. And then it's going to break, and then we're going to add on this last interval here with 12 and 16. And so that should be it. Okay, thank you.